Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, lawn care people, grass people, Ray, even the people that like recreational grass, you're all welcome here because it is Thirsty Thursday. We'll be with you here tonight. It's just me and Ray tonight. Matt is working both first and second shift tonight. He's got a lot of stuff going on there at the plant, so we're gonna give him a little grace and let him do his thing. He might call in and swear at us. Who knows? But we had a guest tonight that has some other plans that he's got to attend to, and so he's going to shift his date. And we thought, Ray, what better than a call-in show? Because we're right on the precipice right now. Here we are, May 20th, May 19th, May 19th, Ray, of some serious turf fucking going on here pretty soon. I got a feeling. We've got 90-plus degrees coming up here, Ray, for the first time all season. Tomorrow and Saturday, some rain showers, some humidity. So I've got a feeling people's buttholes are going to start puckering. And you know what, folks? Here we are, Ray, the Green Doc. What you don't know about Ray is that he's also licensed to inject Botox into and around your sphincter. And we're going to do that tonight by taking live calls and talking about turf. Anything else, anything to do with hair, waxing, laser hair removal, anything like that, he cannot help you. That's actually Sheila's department. She does all that stuff. But, a couple of things. Ray, I wanted to bring something to your attention that I learned today as I was going about my travels, and I found I was given a situation or shown a situation where they had a new turf area, and I don't want to say what it is or anything like that and give it away. New turf area, native soil, new construction put in, a lot of money spent to make this all happen, and the contractor that did it was not necessarily a finisher, let's say, a landscaper of sorts, right? So he took our good old Ohio soil that usually ranges anywhere from, say like 6.7-ish to 7.8-ish, right? And homeboy, because he's a farmer, went ahead and put down 25 pounds of lime per 1,000 on a soil that ended up being really like a 7.2, 7.3. Wow. So this, yeah, because that's what you do. That was what he said. That's what you do is you lime the soil.
Lime. Wow.
But we've heard all the experts chime in here as of late that soil testing really irrelevant. Don't need to do it. No big deal. I would say not so fast, right? Because if you live in Ray's world, that would be him saying, "Where's it at? Here it is. It's beginning to look a lot like I told you so." Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Caller, you're live. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking to right now?
Mr. DeMay.
Yeah, that's me. Who are you?
This is Tony Bowman.
Oh,
Tony
snap.
Bowman, the pride of Southwest Ohio here on the line, and
it's good.
Man, he is going to be feeling some heat here. It's going to be approaching the first real need for gold bond here, Tony, down in your area, I believe, tomorrow. So please make sure that you are stocked up appropriately. Please make sure you're stocked up appropriately. I can't wait until we have the Buy My Shit brand of gold bond, Ray. I can feel it coming,
Really? Well, what is that? I think this was a joke, but then it turned into a real thing. But I've seen like ads for this thing called, get this one, Ryan, monkey butt powder.
Yep, I've played around with that before.
You seen that?
I have. Somebody's got to do something to get this down. Now, Tony, we digress. How can we help you this evening?
Well, things are getting a little crazy tonight. Tornado sirens just went off, but
oh no.
Yeah, it's a little crazy here. But I'm still on the Ray plan of lowering my pH, drop down some more sulfur right before the rain hit this evening. I was just curious, what do you guys think about slow release fertilizers? Um, particular, I've been using that protein fertilizer that Pete with GCI Turf
Uh-huh.
sells.
Hmm.
Is that good thing, bad thing?
Man, a loaded question right off the bat. All right, let's leave the distributors at the door for a second, Ray, because I think we can separate those folks from the fertilizer that is in question here. So let's first talk about protein. Not TEIN, but TENE. TENE? Yeah, protein.
Yeah,
So
TN, yes.
Yeah.
so my view on, let's just talk about what the product's made of, and let me see if I can pull up a label for you, J Pink. So for those of you
Does
playing
that
along
go
at home,
crazy with the soil temperatures, or
it has an effect because it's so basically protein is a methylene urea fertilizer. That's the main source of nitrogen in that. And Ray, why don't you explain how temperature and moisture function together to exact the process that will allow methylene urea to release? Can you explain that to Mr. Bowman? Did I die? Did Ray die?
No, Ray died.
Oh, Ray died.
Ray died.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, Tony, here's the long and short of it is the methylene urea is broken down by microbes, and therefore you need soil moisture and you need soil temperature, most especially for that to take place. Here in Ohio, and particularly where you're at in Ohio, a little bit warmer, kind of the armpit, maybe even all the way down to the taint. It is. I don't think there's a problem in using it. I'm personally a fan of using those types of products, especially when you're challenged to get multiple apps out. So meaning that like through the summertime, especially if you have a problem getting out and applying every, say, 4 to 6 weeks, this is a product that you can use for 8 to 10 weeks and have, pretty good results. Just be wary though that if you get a lot of rain and you get a lot of heat all at once, the release curve of that is going to increase dramatically, meaning that same amount of nitrogen is going to come out. It's just going to come out over a very, a much more truncated and shorter time period. Therefore, you could have, surges in growth. And so, we've seen that in certain years where we've had abundantly wet years and or hot years as well. And so just, kind of play that safe. Usually drier soil means you're going to have a little bit less of that release, but take it for what it's worth. Fine product to use, no issues with it whatsoever. And I would put it near the top of the heap in terms of slow release products that are out there in the marketplace. Most of the other ones, in some way, shape, or form, are using water, right? So passing through some type of wax membrane, plastic membrane, something like that, right? Some polymers and whatnot to diffuse nitrogen through the prill and out into the soil. So those you can end up with a lot more issues, especially if you get really wet because it releases just based on water, and so that could be the only problem. But yeah, no problem with using it whatsoever, and yeah, fight on.
okay, cool.
What else you got? Anything else
That's
good?
really all I have.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for calling in. It's good hearing.
No,
Oh, what? Okay. All right. Well, listen.
just
Get your ass down in the basement.
Yeah.
All right. Don't be the guy standing out in the front porch looking at the tornado as it comes towards your house, okay?
All right, Ryan. Thanks, man. We'll let's grab a margarita sometime.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be down that way here probably next month, probably end of June. So I'll hit you up for sure.
All right. Sounds good.
Take
Thanks,
it
man.
easy, Tony. All right.
You too. Bye now.
Look at that. First call right from Ohio. Can't make this up. You can't script it, folks, because it is a live call-in show. And right now, I'm the only one here. J-Pink is probably being held at gunpoint by the terrorists in the control room right now. There's no doubt about it.
Is holding me
Wallace,
at gunpoint.
yes. Yeah, probably. Blink once if you're safe, J-Pink. Okay, good. All right. So a couple other things here that we have heard quite a bit about here as of late is some of the fungicide asks that we've gotten, right? So in terms of which products should we be using, how frequently we should be using them, what are some of the pitfalls, right, when it comes to fungicide application techniques and best practices that we see. And so probably the number one thing when we ask folks, and this is both in our, our work time and then in our, Thirsty Thursday burn and return time. Uh-oh, is this? Somebody calls in during the middle of it. Caller, you're live. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking? We're actually speaking to a 1988 Buick LeSabre, is what it sounds like. Caller, can you hear me?
I think they got
Caller
scared.
can't hear me. They got scared. How do you get scared? You're talking to a fat guy about grass on YouTube, and there's like 80 people watching. Who cares, man? Let it loose. Live a little. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. How many other people are getting up there? All right, so back to the fungicide thing. So one of the big things that let's see here. One of the big things that we have heard about and are asked the question of has been, hey, do you have your sprayer calibrated? And this goes for if you have a ride-on sprayer, and you're a pro, backpack sprayer, stuff like this. And I will tell you that, I want to say probably about 70% of people give you a half-baked to negative answer, like, I think it's calibrated, all the way down to, no, I don't calibrate. I just know what it does, So the first thing I would say is if you were going to go to the lengths of applying fungicides, especially sprayable fungicides, get yourself calibrated. All right, let's see who this is. Caller, you're live. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking tonight?
Hey Ryan, this is Tim in Southern California.
Tim in Southern California. What's going on, my man?
Yeah. Hey, so I got a question about high pH soil.
Okay.
My pH is 7.7, and I've been working on it, adding sulfur. I haven't gotten to the citric acid yet, but I'm curious as the temperature gets warm.
Mm-hmm.
Does a lawn with a high pH, is it more susceptible to stress from heat?
No, I'm not aware of any research that backs that up. No, nothing like that. I think what you might find, right, is that certain nutrients are a little bit less available in theory, right, at that higher pH, namely phosphorus, right? So from the standpoint of, do we have lower phosphorus in the plant? Maybe. And could we have, some compounding effects of, poor root development, something like that? So what I would say to that, right, Tim, is number one, first is check your roots. They're going to tell you the whole story, right? Because what kind of grass are you growing out there?
Fescue.
All right, this is who I thought you were. Okay, just like
Right.
Who's that? Dennis Allen, the football. You are who we thought you were. Okay, so in that case, I would really be looking at your roots and looking at them often. What I mean by that is taking a soil probe, right? Just a little half-inch soil probe. Pull those out in just a couple of spots once a week or so, and check and see how number one, how much mass do we have, in terms of root density. And number two would be just root vigor. So do we see white roots that are actually, pushing down and trying to, go further down in the soil? Now, you get into really, really hot temperatures, right? Triple digits or something like that, and soil temperatures are in the 90s. You shouldn't see a whole lot of that. And, what I would say there regarding pH, right, would be a couple of things. One, you do need that heat to lower your pH if you are using elemental sulfur. So, try and use that to your advantage, but be a little bit careful given your location, given the amount of heat. You also have to have plenty of water in the soil for that reaction to take place, right? So just be mindful of those two things if you're really committed to that program. It's not, just the apps. It's also making sure that you're using the weather to your advantage, number one, and number two, the soil moisture, which I know can be challenging in your location. So just keep those things in mind as you're working on pH. As far as stress goes and things like that, heat stress is one that is a difficult thing to overcome, and particularly with fescue and the water use that it has. So folks will say that, hey, it's very drought resistant and things like that. It is very drought resistant, but one of the things that you won't probably know is that it also consumes the most amount of water of cool season grasses, right? So it can resist drought for a very long time, but when it wants to become fully hydrated again, to use sort of a layman's term, it needs a lot more water than most grasses. So that all being said, I would really just be careful with the moisture management. That's going to be a real key to keeping it out of a stressful situation. And then also, too, is with your pH modification program, just make sure you're using, again, temperature and heat to your advantage to try and drive that down a little bit. Hopefully it frees up some of the stuff that's there, and you have better success. How is it hanging in there so far this year?
It's doing better than last year. So all I can ask is for, improvement year over year. So I do have one question about the sulfur, though. I thought I was supposed to back off before I hit like the really hot summer months, like a month or two before that.
Oh yeah,
if I drop the sulfur,
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is your heat. When I say your heat, I mean like your. Right. And I remember having this discussion with you. I think it was on a Zoom. I think it was on like a power hour or something that we did for Burn and Return. So, and I think what we talked about there was, your spring, the latter half of your spring and the beginning part of your fall are much more in tune with a traditional summer-like pattern here in the Midwest and other areas that, we'd be recommending sulfur applications even through the summer. So the triple-digit stuff, the June, July, August stuff, yeah, you don't necessarily want to do that. So, your last app, I think, is of when we had that discussion was basically about now, maybe just a little bit sooner.
Yep.
And then, now you're on the mechanical bull, man, and you got a firecracker over there on the joystick moving you all around. That's what's going on right now.
Can I keep doing the citric through the summer or back off that?
I've got no problem with it. Ray, what do you think?
Actually, I'm okay with it, provided you got water. Okay?
Right.
I'm okay with it, provided you got water, because the rules for doing citric...
Carrier volume and irrigation, right?
That's right. I mean, because the thing that I want to see is, are you able to spray out that pound of citric in enough water so that you also have time to start hitting the irrigation, getting that off of the grass leaves, and then into the soil? Because, for example, 1 pound per gallon of water allowed to dry on the grass leaves, that's kind of corrosive. That is kind of corrosive. I mean, that's going to turn the grass essentially into a pickle. And knowing that,
I'm getting excited.
My preference is to try to only do that if I know it can get watered in. I mean, this is not an application where you can put it out and say it's going to rain this Saturday, for example. I wouldn't do that.
Got it.
Yeah.
You got in the chat here. You got J Farm say spray with the sprinklers on. You can do that.
I can do that. Hey, thanks for the information, guys. I just want to say you're awesome. I appreciate everything you do, and thanks so much.
No, we appreciate you. Thank you so much, Tim. Come join us on the next Power Hour, because I'm sure we'll dish out even more than we just did right here. So, thank you, sir.
All right, thanks.
Have a great night. Look at that. Calling in, we got Ohio, Ray. We've got California. Multiple time zones being represented. It's a beautiful thing. And look who just joined the chat. Ben Brinkman, will you be quiet? Can you please pipe down, Ben Brinkman? I don't know if Ben Brinkman's ever made a phone call in here. if he did, it was probably a prank call. It was probably dirty and derogatory things said, I would think. You know,
Ben,
maybe he'll call
Ben,
in. Maybe we can feel the peer pressure, Ben. Feel it. Right there.
I
Call.
dare you. I dare you.
Oh, Ben's got. I'll tell you what. Ben asks questions from time to time. They're very incisive questions. They're very good questions. So
Mhm.
I was talking about
Yeah.
some of the questions that have been coming into us, Ray, and about how I would say no mathematical data here to back this up, but about 70% of folks, when we ask them, hey, you know, you're going to go make fungicide applications this summer because you feel like you're worried, nervous, concerned, whatever, and their sprayers, when you go to ask them, hey, are they calibrated? They give you somewhere between a, I think so, and no, I don't calibrate my sprayer. So, you know, my thing is, if you're going to spend all that money, if you're going to put all that time and effort into spraying it, like, wouldn't you want it to make sure it goes down accurately, evenly? So, I think the sprayer calibration piece is a big thing. People are missing this. There's no doubt about it. And then, you know, from a disease ID standpoint, you know, we talk about this a lot. I think people are
Yes.
already freaking out about abiotic stresses they see in their lawn, right?
Mhm.
And thinking it's disease and then spraying fungicide for it when there's nothing there and only causing themselves more harm than good. Because I know how
Right.
you feel about people applying things when they don't need to be applied.
Mhm. I mean, that's just.
I believe they call that the spray and pray.
Yeah, that's called spray and pray. That's called just doing, and overdoing. And my saying about that is, when you do that, what do you get, Ryan DeMay? You get a pile of doo doo.
You do, and not only that, but you know, talking about fungicide resistance and things like that, and it leads you down a path that is extremely dangerous, and I don't know why. Wow, this is wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Jay Pink just sent us a mailbag question that came in, and this is
Mhm.
what? The,
Oh,
okay,
caller.
all right. Caller, you're live. This is Porno Movie Phone.
Good evening, sir. How are y'all doing tonight?
We're doing good. Are you going to the Fort Worth Pornoplex 10, or are you going to the Dallas Dick Drillers 27 multiplex?
I'm going to the Dallas Dix Driller since it's a shorter drive and gas is $5 a gallon. And I can get my
Oh,
get my
that's
hot there.
right.
Well, I think Thursday is $2 special night. You know, you can watch half price, you know, second run movies there. So I'd encourage that. That'd be a good one.
That's what I'm talking about. I have something I would like to share with you and Ray, if you don't mind.
Please.
Please.
Okay,
Yes.
so yesterday was my birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah, and so for my birthday, my kids bought me a T-shirt, and my wife gave me a piece of ass. The problem is, both of them were 2 sizes too big. Good night.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you.
Listen. Yep. Yep. For those of you who don't know, that was our good friend Derek, also known as Love My Lawn, and Derek always and forever has jokes. He will never not have jokes. There will always be jokes when Derek's around. So, Derek, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate that. We need to pick me up sometimes like that. So,
yeah.
all right. There is a mailbag.
Humor.
He needed
the humor.
I tried to.
Yeah, you needed that.
I tried to introduce him into one of his favorite pre-show skits of all time that I did apparently. But all right. Oh man, no mailbag yet. Caller, you're live. To whom do we have the pleasure of speaking? Caller, is that you?
Hello, my fescue freaks. How's it going?
Oh boy. Hey, listen. This is the sponsor of one of our segments who gives us absolutely $0 for doing it, and we're okay with that
Hey,
because
now I'm a patron.
nothing
I'm a
is
patron.
nothing is free, right? Nothing is free. No. You're a patron, that's fine, but we can't trade free goods because listen, if there's one thing Joe doesn't like, it's people getting free shit for not doing anything. He hates it. He's morally and
hate it.
ethically against it. See?
I hate it.
See, I know you, Joe. I know you, Joe. If you don't know who we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, I'd encourage you to check us out. We tape Sunday nights on a show called Burn and Return. That's also on this channel. And if you want to listen to it live as we record it, you can check out www.patreon.com/burn and return. You can go ahead and click on there. And for far less than the price of an airport beer, Ray, because I was in the airport last weekend and shit is getting expensive in the airport.
Inflation.
You are definitely able to get a beer for it's you're not getting anything for $10. It's just not happening anymore. So go over there, join, listen to us talk, because on Sunday nights when we record that, we do a segment called Joe Knows Turf, and Joe is Ray, I can't even describe. He's kind of like our mascot in a way of a guy just like us who just basically does not give a shit and is out to just tell people what he really thinks. And I think that inspires us to do more. And it really pisses a lot of people off too at the same time, apparently. But all right.
Yeah.
So I digress. I'm going on and on. I'm practicing your eulogy. So, what is going on? How is the lawn looking? How organic of lawn warrioring are we doing right now?
We're not doing too organic anymore. I sent
All
you a
right.
picture of what the lawn looks like now. But to be honest with you, the lawn looks probably the best it ever has.
Yes.
Hey,
got done doing
Joe,
got
pause real quick.
What's that?
Pause real quick. I want you to take your arm. Watch, if you're watching me. I want you to extend it all the way out as far as you possibly can. Okay? And then I want you to reach over your shoulder. Right there, like that.
Okay.
Give yourself a big old pat on the back. You're doing great, man. You're doing wonderful.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Stand fine
Thank
work.
you.
All right. Now, go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so lawn's looking great. I couldn't be happier. My program's going really well. Put down my second app probably a week and a half ago. I know the topic's going to come up eventually. We're already seeing the YouTube videos out there for dethatchers. And do you really need a dethatcher lawn is my question. This really, my lawn, I would say that I pretty much started over again, as you guys know, from my Thirsty Thursday in December. So it's really the first year that this lawn's really been established and it's really thriving. So do you really need a dethatcher lawn? And what are the signs that you really need to?
No.
Because I know we're going to see these YouTube videos coming up where you need to dethatch, you need to take it down, for overseeding time. I mean, I know we're only going into the beginning of June, but I just know those videos are coming.
Okay. I'll say a little bit, then I'll let Ray say a little bit, then we'll kind of we'll tag team this here.
Yeah.
First of all, I'll give you the consultant answer. It depends. But generally speaking, no, you do not need to do this. And we've had this discussion multiple times about why there's always this it seems like there's this pace and rhythm to the YouTube content calendar that things come out, and whether they make sense or not, they come out in mass. So just because everybody's doing it doesn't necessarily mean everybody should be doing it. So
I agree.
Ray, let's talk about rather why you wouldn't. What are the cases that you would dethatch? And let's start in your neck of the woods in general, warm season grasses. What is the case for dethatching?
Case for dethatching is when a matte or dense carpet of dead, non-decomposable material is basically keeping the turf area from absorbing any more water and any more nutrients And essentially, lay people here say, rather accurately, it looks like the grass is strangling itself. And
Hmm.
as far as detaching goes, I often am under the impression that the need to dethatch is often a creation of how that lawn or that turf area has been maintained. In other words, people can do things with their lawn so that they don't need to go through that pain of dethatching. Because do you know what I dislike about dethatching?
Lay it on me.
What's that?
Imagine getting almost covered head to toe in basically grass dust, dry grass dust. I mean, it gets everywhere.
Hmm.
Been there.
And okay, and the way that I say you don't create this problem for yourself is ask yourself, are you fertilizing too much? Are you mowing low enough and often enough so that your grass is not developing this mat of crap? Those are some things that I ask. I also ask, are you overwatering? I mean, that's
Mhm.
something else that I ask. And even in the case of a cool season turf area, my question about over fertilizing will come up as well. Not
Mhm.
necessarily mowing low if you're keeping turf type tall fescue, for example, but my question will come up: are you feeding that grass more than it actually needs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's just does it actually need that stuff that you're spreading and spraying on it every 7 to 14 days? Does it need it? No. And
No.
so, thatch to me is often a symptom. And when I
That,
see thatch, I often start to dig into what else has been done to this lawn up to this point, such that this lawn has thatch.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. So let me talk about cool season here for a minute. I think on cool season, and particularly in lawns, some things that are important to note, right? And the more information you have in the background, the better decisions you can make. So first is understanding how and when your lawn was established. Sometimes you'll have access to this information, sometimes you won't. And the reason I
Yeah.
say that is you're much more likely to see thatch in a sodded lawn than you would be in a seeded lawn. And part of the reason
Mhm.
that is just, sod production techniques, but mostly is that, some of the cultivars they select, not all that they select, are going to be very aggressive sod formers. And in that, they're going to create a lot of thatch. Now, seed companies and the research has gotten a lot better in terms of trying to select for, vigorous sod formers that don't produce a ton of thatch. But again, if your lawn was put in, say anywhere from 10 to 30 years ago from sod, it's very likely that it's going to be a big time thatch former if you're feeding a lot and if you are, watering it, if watering it extensively. So those would be things to watch out for there. The other thing too would be, just looking at your thatch levels. I would be perfectly fine on a normal lawn of having a thatch layer that is, up to say 3/4 of an inch to an inch. And the reason I
Mhm.
say that is it would be the equipment that is available right now for dethatching is simply going to take a long time and a lot of repeated applications to make a dent in something like that.
Mhm.
That's just the way it is. You get up in a more professional professional equipment and things like that. You can make a bigger dent and move the needle a lot faster and a lot further at one time. So in a seeded situation, far less likely to see it. And again, what Ray was saying on the warm season side, managing water, right, is going to be, or are both of those things are going to be the two key critical components to doing this. The other thing too is the age of the lawn, right? So if you're in your house, Joe, and your lawn looks, fairly mature, I understand that, you sprayed out and just went ahead and overseeded into it, right? You didn't move a bunch of soil or do anything crazy, right? When you did yours?
Well, I mean, from the pictures from the Thirsty Thursday that I did with you guys, I mean, I pretty much, I started over again last year. It was pretty much down to bare dirt. I mean, I did put topsoil out to level it in certain spots, but not topsoil, compost, I should say. And so I definitely have some POA in my yard from probably that stirring stuff up. But pretty much before I put down the compost, I did dethatch as much as I could, get out dead stuff that was there. So, I mean, essentially I did start over. I pretty much bare dirt again last September. So I would say this is the first year that's fully established, as long as I can get it through the summertime, which I think I will. And there's, still a good amount of grass there come, this fall overseed, which I think I should. But I think for this situation, for this year, I think I should be good for dethatching wise.
Yeah, I don't see a real need to. Again, the cases I describe would be, more mature lawns that have been overfed and overwatered for a significant number of years. And like what Ray was saying, what ends up happening with excessive thatch? Like, what is the need to do it? It would be, again, an excessive level of thatch there. You're going to have hydrophobic conditions, so that thatch is going to repel water right from getting down into and infiltrating the soil. The other thing that you can do and have problems with are particularly soil-applied pesticides, namely, Ray, the neonicotinoids are famous for getting trapped up in that thatch layer and not being able to move down in the soil where they need to be at the target for mode of action that they require. So,
correct.
All that being said, the other thing too is, go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but those sod forming varieties of cool season grass?
Yep.
Aren't they not selected for thriving and maintaining turf density at a lower height of cut, as is done on, say, a football field?
Definitely there's some truth to that, and I think that's one case there where sports turf is probably one of the outliers where you do need to have, not a considerable, but thatch is okay in sports turf. And I don't mean like an excessive amount, but you need something there, right? That's the interaction point between the cleat of the athlete and the surface that you've prepared. So that's an important distinction.
For me, even in a low-cut residential lawn, I can tolerate about a half to 3/4 of an inch of material between the grass and the soil. I let that be. I actually let that be, and my reason for letting that be is so that the turf area can keep out its own weeds and it doesn't need as much water. Because I've seen instances where somebody has managed to not have any material between the grass and the soil. And that is a turf that is hanging by a thread, because the first hot day comes along, that grass suffers. You have a problem and your irrigation doesn't work for a week, then you have a real problem. And so I consider a little bit of material to be a buffer against issues. But on the other hand, I think my stopping point would be, is say that person has like an inch and a half or more, and it's to the point where it's keeping water and agronomic materials from getting down. Yeah, then that's too much.
Right? Yeah, that's too much. The other thing I can see, Joe, I'll say this, kind of wrap up here on that question there, is where I can see, something like a Sunjoe or something like that being effective is more in what we like to call texture management, meaning, especially if you have a rhizomatous grass like Kentucky bluegrass, right, or a grass that has stolons like Bermuda grass, is slicing into that to create additional growing points, right, and basically thin out the canopy to a certain extent, try to get it to grow a little bit more upright and create more growth points, so that it will continue to fill in, more densely. Now, all that being said, it's kind of getting a little late in the game. You got to be really making sure that you're chooching here, and you're not going to do this on turf that is not healthy or turf that is in any way compromised or could become compromised, given the weather forecast that's coming. So, to all the people that are in the Midwest and have 2 days of 90+ weather, and they're going to go out and do something like this, I would strongly caution you to just wait until next week if you want to do it. Otherwise, it's not 100% necessary at all. So, Joe, what other questions do you have?
I have another question, but I'll hold it for another live show. It's more key toward to the fall time. I always try and prepare myself, for ahead of time kind of thing, and just looking ahead to the future. So I'll leave it for another call-in show, and I think it'll make for another good topic. But I just wanted to get that one in because I know those YouTube videos are coming soon. But I mean, it's amazing what results you get with less product, good quality product, and that's what I've seen this year. And like I said, I couldn't be happier with how things are turning out so far.
Listen. Despite what everybody says about you, we're proud of you. Number one, and two, you can't hold a grudge as good as you can without always looking forward, Joe, and that's what we appreciate about you.
Yep. And I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody in the chat, all my fescue freaks in the chat, and I'll leave you guys to it. Have a good night, guys.
Joe. We love you.
Good night, Joe. Wow.
Ray, the guy. You have that friend, Ray, that he's gonna say something, and you're just gonna be like, "Fuck, did he really say that?" And you shake your head and you're smiling at the same time. That's Joe. That's Joe.
I have a lot of friends like that, so I'm used to
it. Caller, you're live. To whom do we have the pleasure of speaking?
Hello?
Hello? Who is this?
I'm calling from the 330 area code, Mr. DeMay.
I grew up. That's where my roots are. I love the 330. And where can you tell me what county? If you can give me a county, that'll help me out. Medina County. Well, this wouldn't have to be Pat, is it?
You're gonna have to chill out, sir.
Oh shit! Pat Kelly is up way past his bedtime right now. I hope everybody knows that this is a special encore. I don't know if his family went into the bedroom and said, "Hey, listen, Ray and Ryan are on there," and they all came with lighters, and Pat was just like, "Fuck it, I'll go back out and do one more. Here we go," and he's here to talk to us, and we're so happy for him. So, you need to chill out because listen, I've seen pictures of your lawn here recently, and I'm just like, man, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I mean that with all due respect and sincerity. I mean, like, it is to go up Matt and AVE's phrase, it is chooching right now. It's looking good.
Yeah, thanks. And it's all due to the 1-1 diet, 1-1-1.
Yeah, and you know what? You needed that. You needed that in your life.
Absolutely. So I have a question about managing, don't cringe, Ray, my non-irrigated turf going into summer.
Okay.
So
I'm not cringing.
Know how dry it can get in Ohio, Ryan. And I have about 30,000 square feet of turf, and it's just not
Whew.
feasible to to irrigate it or put in a system right now. Do you have any strategies so my lawn can chill out for the summer?
Well,
Besides
non-irrigated's
letting it
tough.
die.
No, I mean, it's not going to die. I mean, it always comes back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mostly. Most of it does. So, okay, a few things here. Non-irrigated turf in Ohio, ton of experience with this, is this making the most of the weather that you do get, right? So, I know you have a zero turn. You probably don't have, do you have anything you can pull behind and, pull some plugs out or do anything to, like, open the soil up at all with that rig?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
have a
Oh
front-
yeah. Oh yeah.
I have a front mounted hitch. So I do have a power rake that I use
Oh
to
shit.
rake out debris.
Mhm.
Just getting off topic there, but I may purchase a aerator attachment for it so I can hammer it.
So, I think something like that would be fine, and I don't even necessarily think it needs to be one that you can pull plugs with. I think you could be fine with, a solid tine or a spike or something like that. And the reason I say that, right, is I know that the soils in your area aren't terrible. There's some pretty productive crops and cropland up there. So that being said, I think when you do have a rain coming in, is trying to open that some bitch up a little bit and make sure you get good infiltration into your soil. That's just a little trick that I used to use in some cases, right, on unirrigated. I know you have a fancy dancy new sprayer out there. What are your thoughts on throwing a little bit of wetting agent out there at that? I understand it's 30,000 square feet, but there's some economical ones that are meant for that are marketed mainly to like golf course fairways and rough that would totally fit the bill for you, and I think be not too spendy. Are you into that?
I'm very into that.
Look at that. we had a moment right there. He thought about it for a second. And he was like, "Am I into what DeMay is saying?" And then he thought, "Yeah, I'm really into that."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're not the first person to say that today to me either, Pat. So I just want you to know that. Okay, take a number and chill out. So you're special, but you're only special for 9:57 on a Thursday night, man. Like you gotta know your place. All right, so let me see if I can dig up a label here. Oh man, hang on a second. This can take me a minute because there are
because
a couple of good ones here.
For that size turf area, Ryan, I consider the wetting agents intended for fairways to be probably a wise choice and economical, because do you know when one of those wetting agents becomes expensive is when you're trying to do that to just a 5,000 square foot lawn, right? Then you've bought a 2.5 gallon bottle that you essentially are going to own for the rest of your life. Where
Right on.
if you have
Go ahead.
Like if you have some substantial area, then that bottle becomes worth it, because 32 to 64 ounces per acre, for example, that's a typical application rate for one of those materials. And then it becomes worth it. Then it becomes totally worth it.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely where we need to go. Man, I can't find the price. Okay, I'll get the label pulled up here. But anyway, that's kind of where I would be is looking at something like that. And I would even say this, Pat, is don't necessarily have to do the whole 30,000 square feet. Do a small plot as big as you want to spray. What's your calibration? Because I know you got a big boy pump on that little sprayer. What does a tank cover? Like if you have a full tank in that son bitch, what's it covering square footage wise?
So I just what did I spray? Sprayed some feature. My first time kind of
Mhm.
actually using it because I don't want to use something a little potent trying to calibrate it. But I've been
Oh
going
yeah.
around like 3 miles. It's got a 5.5 gallon pump. It does have a 10-foot boom, but that's a little too much to manage. So I collapsed it.
Oh.
I gotta ease into it, just the tip.
All
baby.
right.
JT.
Yeah. You don't.
Um,
you don't. Yeah. You want to take full length.
It's 26 gallons, and I sprayed probably 20,000 square feet, pretty easy.
Oh wow. Ray just got a chubby because you're up over a gallon per thousand. So, all right. Then we got something to work with here. So
yeah, forgive me, but then all that would mean is that in order to get you so that 26-gallon tank covers your 26,000 square foot area dead on, do you have the capability of fine tuning the flow and the pressure to the boom? Do you have that capability?
Yeah, it does have a pressure regulator, and it
Okay,
seems like
because
it does really well at like 40 psi running 3 nozzles when the booms collapse.
Okay, because what I would tell you at that point is try this again at say 35 psi and see what happens. Because the reason why I'm such a fan of these sprayers that have highly adjustable regulators is that even for myself, I do it too, where I'm adjusting pressure to make it so that application goes down at what I want it to be, and I'm not at the mercy of, oh, this is what the sprayer does, and so that's it. No, I have the ability to get my application volume such that, okay, I need a gallon per thousand. Great. This is what I have to do to get that gallon per thousand, period.
Sure.
Yeah,
this
you know.
is
I like-
it's nice. It's a nice little product here. So okay. Thanks to Evie, who threw up. There's one from Helena that I like. But yeah, Evie threw up a good one here from Winfield Pro. It's like $193 for a 2.5. Goes out at a gallon per or a gallon per acre rather, 3 ounces per thousand. And that is is it the bi-weekly? That's the bi-weekly rate. Monthly rate is 2 gallons per acre or 6 fluid ounces per thousand. So I think you could use something like this, Pat, and we'll throw this up in the chat. I'll get a link over here so you can take a look at this. But this would be something to, fuck around and find out with, and I would do it on, 5, maybe 10,000 square feet, so somewhere between, 15 and 30% of the lawn, and just see what happens. And really what you're going to want to do with this product, right, is time it up when, okay, I know that I've got a rain coming. Put it out, as close to that as you possibly can. I know that can be challenging and everything with schedules and everything that's going on in people's lives, but try and do that and stick with it. And it's not going to be something that you see like instant mad results, like, oh, hey, like a month later, like I'm seeing huge gains. It's going to be something that, is a season-long thing that you commit to and do. And I think that would be very telling as to what you see. Monthly applications, you can kind of fudge it a little bit if you got some rain coming up and it's been 3.5 weeks. I would send it, especially if there's no more rain on the horizon, something like that. And conversely, if it's been really, really wet, you don't necessarily need to apply at that 4-week interval. You can back off and wait until you think, okay, hey, this might be the last one. Go out there, send it, and give it a shot. I'm thinking, in a typical setting, I would say 4 apps, so May, June, July, August. If you really wanted to stretch one into September, you could. But I think in your area, especially being on the northern half of the state, things are pretty moderate, and we've got some decent rains in the fall. It seems like anyway, even though September is supposed to be the driest month. But not so much lately. Not so much.
Yeah.
But
Seems
let me
like
get this link. Go ahead.
July, August, September are the driest around here.
Yep, it is
Yep.
true,
Uh-huh.
and gotta have something. You gotta have something to lean on. So let me see if I can find this. Also, Soakwar from let's see,
Lawn Supply Company.
Let me see, because I think that one would do trick as well. Choose an option, 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
36 gallons,
also
2 gallons.
a 2.5 gallon jug of Step 10 Plus. I'm going to apply myself. I saw our Pennsylvania golf course super friend Napolio. He had some really good results on his own turf throughout the drought last summer. So we'll put that.
I'm a big fan.
Well.
I'm a big fan. Oh man. So okay, I would say, let me take a look, because Soakor's got the Soakor from Lawn Supply Company, also a good option. So we'll throw both of those links up there, and you can take your pick. They're right around the same price, pretty much. And I'm anxious. You got to post pictures, dude. You can't just like blue balls on this one and be like, oh man, I'm going to do it, and then you just come on and post like a text update on the Discord of, hey, I sprayed today. I sprayed with the wedding agent, like, and no pics. It's don't be that guy. All right.
I'll send the
Please.
money shot.
Please, well, and extend those booms out to 10 feet. Don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself. Okay, and treat your turf.
Okay.
It's there. That's what you bought that sprayer for. So, hell yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Listen, I appreciate you calling in. It was lovely to talk to you. It was nice of you to speak with us tonight. I appreciate it. Ray appreciates it.
I appreciate all the help and strategy. That's very helpful. So I just have to leave you two with this. You both have to chill out for the rest of the night, okay?
God, this fucking guy.
Got
This fucking guy. We love you, Pat. We love you.
Yeah.
All right,
We
folks,
love
have
you.
a good night, and very much. Love you too. Bye.
Take her easy. Take her easy. Another usual suspect, if you don't know, Pat is one of the most serious goofballs you'll ever meet. Like, that's the best way to describe him. All right, caller, you're walking into a little bit of it's not a dumpster fire. It's more of like a campfire that's near a dumpster. How are you this evening? Who are we talking to?
Well, I'm no love my lawn, but I'm so thirsty to not throw salt in my yard.
Oh,
but you
my
could refer
God.
to me
Shut
as
the fuck up.
Ted Nugent of lawn care.
Oh, yeah.
Is this is
I know who this is.
this the part?
Absolutely.
I know who this is. This is sweaty. This is Sweaty Teddy Ray, and he's going to help us release the stranglehold on his nutrients by applying some magic product. What do we need to do tonight, Sweaty Teddy? Is it Dirt Booster? Is it Super Juice? Is it finger blasting the lawn with Green Shocker? What are we gonna do tonight, Ted? Tell me, please. I need to hear it.
We're going to do 2 in the green, 1 in the dirt.
That's the way to do it right there.
Busy bee.
Yeah, we know.
We know.
All right, what are we talking about? Let's hear it.
All right, so we are a major dress drought, or like drought. Let's see. We're on a major drought over here. Oh, also, Ray, by the way,
Yeah.
I ran that combo yesterday that you and me talked about Tuesday. Total nuke. I had just enough. I had just enough simazine to do it.
All right.
But again, like I was talking to you earlier in Dirty, the whole they want fire ants, fleas, and ticks. I'm seriously thinking carbaryl, Teca, and maybe Cyper, or do I need that?
Cyper. Well, the thing about the Cyper is that Cyper is fast, but it has not much of a residual. So you
So would I
always
be
need something.
would I,
You always need something with
would I,
more of a residual, because cypermethrin, I consider that really hit and run if it's sprayed out outdoors and in the environment, because I also know cypermethrin as this termiticide called Demon Max.
yeah, that
And
didn't work for shit back then.
okay, well, that's because even when cypermethrin is applied underneath a house for termites, at best you have a 1 year half-life at best. So that's and outdoors in the environment, exposed to sun and air and water, at best you maybe get about a week of half-life out of cypermethrin. But what's in its favor is that cypermethrin kills most insects dead yesterday. It's fast.
Right.
It's fast. So
So I was thinking,
that's
I was thinking maybe throw that as maybe a little bit of a kicker, but run XTS and
mhm.
carbaryl with Teca.
Yeah, yep. I mean, I see where you're going with this, and that is
Because I got to do a
because you
blanket
have a
spray, and then I got to do a like my Steel 420 whatever the backpack mystery is.
right, because I told you that for ticks, especially the ticks that carry Lyme disease, it is very important to cover vegetation up to a height of at least 10 feet, because do you know what ticks actually do? Ticks actually live in the vegetation, and they will literally drop down when something walks by. That's what ticks do.
Right.
So you've got to make sure that vegetation is covered.
Yeah, I
And
want a Chernobyl of kill all insects, but I know I can't
well,
legally do Termidor HE.
yeah, right. Well, exactly. And even Termidor, the thing about Termidor is that is more effective in instances where it is underneath the house and it's protected from sunlight and air and water.
It's a ground soaked.
It's yeah.
It's
So
a ground
it goes
soaked
into
trench, and then you cover it back up,
right,
and then
and then
do
you
a
cover
light
it back
dose
up.
over top.
Right, or else I'm familiar with Termidor being injected sub concrete slab, like underneath the concrete slab where there's no air
Same
or
way
water or anything.
you drill the holes, or
You drill the holes.
suspended porches. You do the same thing. You suspend that, and then you like soak it that way too.
Right. So then that's why I'm not necessarily a fan of broadcasting fipronil products outdoors, because you actually don't get the residual out of it anyway. Yeah, you don't really get the residual. It's better to not do that, because the problem with fipronil is that fipronil is very toxic to fish and shellfish. That's its
But
problem.
there's
Is
no
that
fish nowhere near
well,
this. It's a
but then
condo that's 0.3 acres.
mhm. Well, the thing then is that even then, it's not necessarily the best thing for even ticks, because again, on a
But hey,
plant, its
I do
half-life
have
is
a
very
question for
limited.
you here in a minute.
Sure.
But go ahead with this one.
Okay. The thing is that on the other hand, I know something like, say, bifenthrin or microencapsulated lambda cyhalothrin, which is like demand CS, that has a certain amount of residual on foliage and vegetation.
Yeah, we talked about XTS and demand CS.
Yeah,
And I was
demand
looking up demand
CS.
CS.
Yeah, demand CS. And the reason why I look at demand CS is that under my conditions, I get anywhere from 2 to 3 months of insect control when sprayed at outdoor pest rates, like for mosquitoes and nuisance pests in vegetation and foliage. I get pretty good residual
Right.
out of that stuff, and that is on properties that either get a lot of irrigation or a lot of rain. So I know it holds
I
up.
don't think they get I don't think they get irrigation, so they're basically like me at my house.
Well,
So whatever happens.
right.
That's why I was
So
thinking
you know what?
maybe the Bifin XTS.
Maybe, but then even that Bifin XTS now, Bifin XTS only has good residual if it's in soil or if it is soaked into wood, because I'm familiar with Bifin XTS, and that is a solvent-based concentrate. It's an emulsifiable
Yeah, that's what
concentrate.
that's why I was thinking
And
about that, because it was the oil base.
yeah, however, as an oil base, when it is used on plants and vegetation, the residual qualities of that are not as good as, say, a microencapsulated product. It's not as
So
good. I
even
mean,
stacking that with a methylated seed oil, wasting time
even
and money.
then, yeah, you're wasting time and money. I mean, and there's a reason why I just go straight for the demand CS, because that's microencapsulated. So that's why it lasts.
See, this
It
is what I'm
lasts,
trying to figure out.
yeah, because it lasts way above and beyond bifenthrin, because when applied to surfaces and structures, for example, that microencapsulated demand CS, that's 3, 4, 5, even 6 months or longer indoors. It'll be there for a while. I call that, 3 Mile Island for bugs.
That's what I'm looking for.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean,
We've seen my 24-hour kill
exactly.
of
Yes.
you and me coming up with this kill.
Yeah. I know that one because I'm familiar. Quite familiar, in fact.
That was great. She texts me probably every 4 days going, "How did you figure this out?" And by the way, that was the one that the wife sold for $150.
Oh.
Yeah, that one.
Oh no. Yeah, so you see,
Yeah.
At that price, you cannot afford a callback. I get it. Okay? You can't afford a callback.
No, and like every 3 days, she's like, "Oh my God, what did you do? Oh my God, how did you figure this out?" And I'm just like, "I'm good at what I do."
Yeah. I mean, that's called your standard high efficacy vegetation management treatment or application. You see, the kind of stuff that I'm telling you is standard for railroad tracks and utility right of ways, because they shan't be effing around either.
No.
Right.
One and done,
Right.
man.
One and done. Exactly.
Done.
So, Demay, if we have time, I have one question for you.
Well,
And
is this
Ray
is
as
this a
well.
quickie? Is this a quickie? Or are we doing foreplay, or what's going on here?
Well, I mean, you want me to tickle your balls or what?
I'm okay. My balls are fine. Thank you for asking. All right, let's go.
So with the drought that we've had going on right here, I've looked at a chelated iron with a 1200. I'm looking at a Lebanon 6111 with Mesa, and then going out with an Armada.
Okay.
What are your yays, nays, and what do I like?
What are we
tweaks on that?
doing this on? Is this is this centipede? Is this Bermuda? Is this tall
Fescue.
fescue? What are we talking
Tall
about?
type,
Talking about
turf fescue.
turf type tall fescue in drought in South Carolina.
And we hit
I wouldn't be
94
I'm not going to be
Non-irrigated.
doing a whole. I'm going to be not going to be doing a whole hell of a lot to that. I think you save your money, you batten down the hatches, and you hope that your program from last fall gave you enough roots to live through this shit. I don't know.
This
I
is the
mean
one
that
I overseeded in March.
You want to know what I'd be doing? You want to know what I'd be doing? I'd take all that fertilizer budget. I'd go buy me some hoses, and I'd be out there setting up a temporary irrigation system. That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
Well, we
I'd
have
be
a
setting up.
He has a well, and I
irrigation.
just actually dropped the sump pump 342 feet deep,
Mm-hmm.
and we're irrigating it like above ground with sprinkler heads.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting water to it now. But we've been watering
product
probably 2 inches every 3 days, and it's still crispy.
What? 2 inches every 3 days. Something's not right
And
there,
it's
bro.
still crispy.
What kind of
That's
soil
how
are
dry
we
we
dealing with
are.
here?
The one that I pulled up back in when I was on Thirsty Thursday. But I done all the recommendations per Clemson of the phosphorus and lime.
Okay.
Hell, my Bermuda's crispy. It's green, but it's crispy.
Man. So you're saying are you sure that you're putting out 2 inches?
Yeah, I have
every
rain gauges and everything. And I'm the one controlling the water.
Yikes. So, a couple of things. Number one, fertilizer-wise, I don't know that I'd be using the 6111. Let me send this label here to J Pink so he can throw it up. There we go. J Pink, go ahead and pull that up. Ray, I need you to pop a baby aspirin when you when you look at the first derivative on this.
Is that the Lebanon Mesa?
Yeah. Well, it's there's 6111, right?
Yeah, but it's the Lebanon Mesa 6111.
Yeah, it combines Mesa and sulfate of potash. Yeah, it's there.
Mesa, sulfate of potash. But here's where this product will actually start to hurt you rather than help you. Okay? We did an entire show on sewage sludge. We did a show on sewage sludge, right? And
yeah,
not only are we giving the lawn unknown things, the nitrogen contained in a product like this, the nitrogen from the sewage sludge, you don't know when it's going to release. And odds are, because it is.
Are you talking the 2% other water soluble nitrogen?
Actually, I'm talking about the 2.3% water insoluble nitrogen. Because Mesa is considered water soluble, but then the thing about sewage sludge based nitrogen is my experience with it is that it tends to release at inopportune times. and your inopportune time on your turf type tall fescue is in midsummer during the hottest weather.
All right. Let me set the stage for you. All right. And let me use an analogy that you might understand, BB. All right. Imagine me, my fat, gangly, gluttonous ass, and I don't get to have beer for an extended amount of time, right? Dreadful, awful,
Oh, no.
terrible. I know. What would I do? Now, let's say you want to give me, some happy pills, something that's gonna. All right. Well, if everything goes according to plan, DeMay will be at least a little bit happier, even though he's not getting the beer. All right, fine, cool. I'll munch those up, snort them, shoot them, absorb them rectally, whatever. Now, you're doing the same thing here by taking your 6111, putting that activated sewage sludge out there, and what you're putting it on is a plant in a compromised state. Okay? Shit is crispy, as you said, and it's not very happy. And so now I want you to imagine that somehow, and by some stroke of luck, that the water from the sky turns on, and in June or July, it's a deluge. You're getting thunderstorms, cold fronts are passing through, all this other stuff, and then guess what? You have got turf that is absolutely sapped, i.e. me, and no beer, right? That is in a dire state. Right. But now I'm getting all the beer I want, and now the turf is getting all the fertilizer it wants because that activated sewage sludge is releasing in the presence of water and heat. And now you've got a one-array freight train to a complete and total fall renovation because that fescue will be fucked. So my only caution there is to be very careful with what you do using that particular product. My assertion here would be to play it safe. Try and use, you can use your liquids, but that is also, you got to make sure you can irrigate that stuff. So if you have above ground irrigation, make sure it's set up, make sure it's working. Go ahead and run it. Do a couple of quick spins of the heads before you apply that 1200 product with the chelated ion, and then water it in directly afterwards. So all I can say is,
Granular was out of stock, so I was looking for options.
Listen, don't just go look on the internet and assume. Call the people that make it. Call Ryan Knorr. He'll probably find a way to make it happen for you. All right?
Well,
I talked to the vice president of customer service at Ryan Knorr and for Ryan Knorr and for Lawn Supply Company. Had drinks and dinner with her.
Tell Knorr and Burgundy happy birthday. Sorry, it's late, but
I was gonna tell him here before the end of the show. I was gonna let him know, but yeah, Lushy's got a birthday coming. We got a lot of birthdays. So Ray, I don't know what it is, but there's something about early to mid August, right? That makes people want to fuck. Apparently.
Well, I mean, I can figure out.
The kids are going back to school. Let's bang.
Yeah, well, I can figure out kind of what happened with me is maybe my father got a little frisky the first month of the year.
Oh, so you're an October baby?
August.
Oh wait, the first month of the year. That'd be like the last month. That'd be like December.
Yeah, December.
Christmas.
I'm a June baby.
Yeah, well, let's see. Christmas. June. That's right. I mean, it's like I'm kind of wondering. Like I said, what was my father? Was my father feeling frisky in say that November, December time period? Because I know that old man would be kind of off the rails between Thanksgiving through Christmas. Seriously.
I don't know. That would be there's got to be a site for that where you type in your exact birth date and it goes back 9 months to see if there was any major happenings at the time that would have caused people to come together and procreate. So if there's not, there should be. That'd be my retirement thing, and I do.
Hey, but JP, can we make a link for that?
We'll do it. Yep. It's called.
I would advise anybody who's thinking of doing this not to.
Oh no! I think it's a great. The URL is not going to convey the attitude and inflection of this statement, but we need to have kind of in a disgusted voice. My parents had sex.com. That's what we did, and that would be the URL. So my parents had sex.com. J Pink, if it's not bought, go ahead and get it, and we'll figure out how to connect Wikipedia and do some kind of bot or something. BB,
I
keep it wet.
I will pay half for that.
All right, it's gonna cost like $6, dude. Send it to me in quarters or dimes. I don't care. I love you. You're doing. You can. You're doing great. I know it's tough down there. There's no water. Keep it wet, BB. That's what you do.
Trying to. Appreciate it, y'all.
All right. Have a good night.
Y'all too.
We got some characters here, Ray. It is a show and a channel filled with characters. And okay, let's see who this is. Caller, you're live. What's up?
Is this a safe place?
I mean, it can be. Can you show me on the doll where they touched you?
Last time I called in, I was assaulted verbally by Mr. Martin. Is he still there? I'm nervous.
He's probably watching and muttering swear words under his breath right now.
He verbally assaulted someone, but he said it was me, but then it wasn't me, and then it was me. I didn't know what happened. I feel I don't know if it's safe to ask questions yet.
Wait, I gotta see if I can find this picture. Hang on. Let me do this real quick. This is important. Let me see. Oh yeah. This is too good. This is too good. All right, let me send this. J Pink, go ahead and throw that up for us real quick.
The worst part is
everybody can see. Listen, hey. Oh, that's too bad. Listen, this is our caller right now. And that's the most meat he had in his mouth in quite some time, and I was there for it. I was proud, and it's his birthday, so he might do this again. He might even do it again.
Oh man, I mean that is just.
Are you gonna? What's your
picture of awesomeness?
This is a question for you. This could be past, present, right? Your ideal birthday dinner. Like if you could go to any restaurant that's either currently existing or is like since closed down or something like that for a birthday meal, a special meal, where would it be? And what would you have? What's the restaurant and what would you eat? Very important.
The restaurant could change. I actually like where we went, George's. But I definitely would. It would probably be. It wouldn't even have to be a restaurant. A true, gotta have birthday dinner is a clam boil and some lobsters.
Oh man. George's was legit.
That's it right there. A full blown clam boil. Get that thing out, but you got to throw the little Portuguese in there. You got to have the chorizo inside the clam boil in the pot with the little baby potatoes, corn, the hot dogs.
Oh wow!
And banging down little necks, and I mean butter. I mean real butter. We don't want that. The wild crap that's gonna kill my ass later. I want real butter that's gonna kill my heart.
Butter does not kill your heart,
and then lobsters. And then I need not just one lobster, and I don't want a big one. I like the 1.5 pound, 1.25 pounds. Those are beautiful, tender, delicious. Give me 2-3 of those bad boys. I'll eat all day. I will just devour that.
Man, Lushy, man, because I was just looking at between that enormous steak. Because by the way, Lushy, you know me, I would definitely be down for a steak that size.
I would love to,
Okay.
Ray. I would love to sit and eat a steak that size with you. That would be glorious.
Well, I mean, you see, opportunities for that could probably come up. I mean, it could come up. I mean, not necessarily up in Massachusetts or Rhode Island, but you know, there's chatter or talk about another meetup this year, and of course, Jay Pink tells me that we have to get to a certain number of patrons to make that happen.
Well, what's the number we need to beat to? Jay Pink, speak
125, I
up.
think. 125?
125 or
Is that right?
125.
Yeah,
I
125.
think so. So, yeah.
And what are we at right now currently?
95.
5.
95.
30
well,
more people.
I mean, let's go, people. I mean, it's nothing. Ryan DeMay just told you that the going out to the airport has gone up. The wife just went grocery shopping for $350 and came back with half a refrigerator full. It's $5 a month if you want to be a cheapo. Get on board, sign up. Is an unbelievable amount of information. Ray will teach you how to burn a lawn so you have at least a 30% callback rate for people freaking out because their lawns are burning because of what you sprayed on it.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's just say the bent grass has gone bye-bye, Ray. The bent grass has gone to sleep.
96.
The bent grass has gone bye-bye. Is it tapping out right now? Is it tapping out?
Oh, the picture I put up?
Yes.
Oh, the picture I put up in Dirty Deeds was all bent grass back there, and there's other lawns where
all
it's
right.
just smoked.
Yes.
Absolutely smoked.
Yes.
They want to know why there's big dead brown spots in their lawn. I'm like, don't worry about that.
Yeah, I tell people that was planned. That was planned and intended. That's what I tell people when brown.
I was going to say the company line is the mild winter, the early warm up we had in March and early April, and then the cold spell that then followed at the end of April has made us have an aggressive herbicide application plan to corral the weeds under control. There may be some tip burn and unfortunately some minor tracking, but don't worry, it'll all grow out.
It'll all grow out, and then you have your grass back. I mean, so the alternative is that I'm hearing chatter also of these people that are basically telling True Green no more because True Green's been coming to the lawn for, in some cases, more than a year, and these people still have the same weeds.
Yes, a friend of ours, maybe a sponsor of the show, was talking about a 3-year lawn with multiple stages of clover. And I actually have a customer who wants to sign on who had prepaid with their other provider and is just waiting to try to get their money back to figure that out. They came in and sprayed it. It kind of singed up. I drove by and saw it, but we'll see what the clover will probably roll through it because they probably just hit it with some three-way.
Yeah, well, that
and
is like
it'll curl and then come back.
That's my experience with your bulk, low-cost three-ways on something like clover is that the clover will get a little bit sick from it, but it'll recover and come roaring right back. On the other hand, I know how to make clover talk.
We got to put a little chloric in that bad boy.
And some triclopyr. I mean, I have ways of making it talk.
Maybe 15 ounces to the acre, and then, I mean, if you want to get spicy, throw a little mesotrione in there. Just get a little mode in there.
Yep. I mean, because my question is how many colors can you make the weeds turn before it dies?
I don't want one color dead.
No, I'm personally in favor of yellow, white, and then brown.
Yep.
That's my favorite colors. Those are my
Sounds like the
favorites.
last time. Sounds like the last time I had the stomach flu,
All right.
Ray.
Oh, yuck. Yeah, yellow,
I'm
white,
calling
and then
in with
brown.
I'm calling in with a two-parter here. I'm
Okay.
asking for a friend
Mhm.
who has been asking me. He's been asking about fungicide, which Ryan tried to segue into in the beginning of the show. He was talking about fungicides. This
Mhm.
person has been asking me about, and I think it's for ease of application, and I understand that. He's been asking about granular application of fungicide, which I know is slightly frowned upon, versus a liquid application. I proceeded to ask him what were his problems last year as far as what funguses was he having with. I couldn't get a straight answer. I kept getting, but what about this? And I would get like Syngenta's Heritage G.
Hey, what's my
now
Ray?
I possibly by Ryan's chuckle, he may be getting the same text from the same person. So
Two things here.
Leaving that
One,
person anonymous because we love him.
I know who you're
What
talking
do you guys
about.
think of that?
I know who you're talking about, and I
I'm asking
respect
for a
this
friend.
person. I respect this person, even though there's a lot of people that don't. But I still respect this
This
person.
is true. I love him.
I don't understand
my reply was to him was, just send me $50, slap yourself in the face, and we'll call it even. If he wants to put granular fungicide out,
it is a fool's
I
errand.
thought that was a good deal.
Especially in the location that he's in. And Ray, you know this because we've talked about this before, and Matt wouldn't understand this because he's not here and hasn't seen the movie all the way through. But this is a perfect example of Full Metal Jacket, one of the great Stanley Kubrick movies of all times, where Arlie Ermey's at the top of the the ladder exercise, right? And he is screaming at Private Pile to get the fuck off my obstacle. Get the fuck off my obstacle.
Yeah.
If this individual was climbing my obstacle and told me, hey, before I go over this other side, what do you think about granular fungicides? I would tell him to get the fuck off my obstacle. And if he's listening right now, I hope that you hear what I'm saying when I say, get the fuck off my obstacle. So, I can't be part and party to this. I'm not going to recommend a granular fungicide.
I mean, I know your stand on it, and I brought it up in jest because I know you guys truly hate it, and I tried to relay that to him. And
yeah, I hate.
He is a bit of a he is a bit of a sadist because when I told him that just pay me the $50 and slap himself in the face, he said, "What's your Venmo?" So
yikes. Yikes, because seriously speaking, the only time a granular fungicide is even worth it is in cases where you have a soil or root-borne disease and you're applying that fungicide preventatively. Because do you know what makes me cringe is when I see people throwing granular fungicides on a leaf and shoot disease. That's that's just horrible because
I guess to help maybe somebody.
All right. I figured it out.
What
figured it out.
Leaf and shoot disease. What might be like as a description? What could be like quick? Rattle off a couple leaf and shoot diseases that it wouldn't work on.
Okay, dollar spot, leaf spot, rust, powdery mildew.
Mildew.
Yeah, throwing granules for those diseases is rather pointless because you're missing where the disease is, first of all, and in order for that granular fungicide to even have any effect on that disease, you have to hope that once it gets in the lawn, it gets watered in sufficiently to enter the root zone. And then once it enters the root zone, it has to become upwardly systemic into that leaf tissue in sufficient concentration in order to work. And here's what I know about a lot of the fungicides on the market nowadays. They are more downwardly systemic rather than upwardly systemic. In other words, they do better moving from the leaves down to the roots rather than the other way around. And Heritage or azoxystrobin is an example of a fungicide like that, where it does better going downward from the leaves to the roots rather than back up into the leaf tissue.
But it can go up.
It can,
right? But
yeah,
it's better for root. If you're gonna have it go down, right? It's really only gonna impact the root. Okay, we're going down a wormhole. Here's what I'll say. You want me to solve this real quick, Lushy? I will say this.
Yeah, you get sum it up.
If that individual is dead set on applying granular fungicides, then my only ask of this person is that they only buy those from golfcourselawacademy.com and the fine folks over there, because boy howdy, if anybody in the YouTube space knows all about granular fungicides and how to use them or have no fucking clue about how to use them, it's those folks over there, and that's where this individual should go to get them, because they are, without question, the experts in the field, and we love them for it. We really do. So go there right now. Golf Course Academy, Golf Course Lawn Academy, or whatever.
We're gonna leave it at that. Yeah. I hope I can go on to my next point, was actually for the reason I called. Do I still have the time? Is there still time?
Yeah. Fuck it. You're good. Go for it.
Okay. So J Pink, I sent you some stuff. Can you flash that up? I bought some product. We're gonna go right into the granular product here, and I purchased some FAFO. I wanted to see. I'm gonna do a little testing. How a granular moisture manager might work on a non-irrigated lawn.
Good.
Because if J Pink flashes up the weather data that we've had, we are in the midst of a little bit of a drought.
Yeah, it's getting a little toasty in the east half of the United States, I heard. It's getting a little toasty.
Yeah, especially when you smash everything with 6 ounces of sulfentrazone.
Oh, well, gee,
everything's a little crispy. Everything's a little crispy.
Hey, burn and return, baby. Burn and return.
Hey, yep. Only the people that aren't watering correctly is where there's an issue on that end. But I really wanted to know what your thoughts were about a granular product in a moisture manager versus a liquid. I bought 10 bags just to screw around and see, because I've used in my fungicide program, I generally would use a liquid mixed in. Need to be watered in right away. I don't have control of my clocks, which I would love. So I have to rely on a homeowner to come home and water it as soon as they get home, versus the granular where it could be activated when they do that. So I'm just curious as to what your thoughts were.
So I'll go first here real quick. I've used granular wedging agents for I don't know, 16 plus years, very effectively, in a variety of different situations. Not always the way that you were going to use them, but I've seen them used in that type of setting, right, in a non-irrigated space, and they've done exceedingly well. So, the big drawback on those is, pro con, right? So, the pro is, they're super easy and quick to apply. They last longer than what a liquid would, for sure. And I shouldn't say for sure, but in most cases, generally speaking, they last longer. And the con is the price. It's they're more expensive on a per 1,000 basis than what a liquid is, generally speaking. So,
Right.
you factor all those things in, and you start to look at, okay, well, can I spread a fertilizer and spray a wetting agent at the same time or something like that? So I'll be interested to see what your customers see, what you see, and if those two things align, because I do know that they can be very effective. Very effective.
So my thought was to use this in a two-part. One was just on a pure test of a non-irrigated lawn and try it out there just to see. And I only the fact that it's his front lawn on a very busy corner where we've kind of taken over as a project. I would love to do half, but I think I have another site to kind of like do a little non-irrigated area where I can mess around and just do it in a specific area. But the thought was to use this with our fungicides. So when we go out and do a fungicide application, we're applying that, try to help mitigate the amount of water that the homeowner would have to put out.
I think it's fine.
I could be going down the wrong road.
No,
you can tell me to turn around and go back.
Nope,
you're fine.
not at all. Not at all. Because in this case, that granular moisture manager / wetting agent is going to just stay there, and the next time it rains, that wetting agent is going to activate and then help that water from the rain get down rather than running off if, say, the turf has become hydrophobic. Because I'm familiar with this condition in turf areas where after prolonged periods of drought or lack of water, you have a hell of a time getting that area to accept water again. Have you ever seen that, Ryan? Where after somewhere's been dried out for a long time, it doesn't want to re-wet? I mean, that's kind of where, for me, I know personally. Right. Yeah.
Correct.
For me personally, that's where I get that gun that attaches to the hose that you drop that 8-ounce pellet of solidified wetting agent in it, and you start tringing the turf. I mean, that's my usual in that case, just to get it to accept water again.
No doubt about it, and I think that's a challenge always is trying to get some of those things to re-wet. So, all right, Lushy, we're gonna do our mailbag segment, and I think we're gonna try and get out of here by about 11 o'clock ish, and then get on over to the after show here. So, any other questions, thoughts, anything you want to leave us with?
No, I think you guys answered it. I think we helped the other gentleman, because actually he's texting me and saying, so no granulars. I think he got our point. It says no granulars. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm answering you. No granulars.
All right. Hey, listen.
I'm good.
All right. Well, we love you, and we appreciate you plugging or making us plug golfcourselawnsstore.com for our fine friend who's going to use all the granular fungicides he can use, and maybe then some. So,
and if you don't want to go to the golf course lawn, I am a big fan of Lawn Supply Company. I would definitely go in that direction. If you didn't want to go to golf course lawns, I don't blame you. High quality products, great advice. If you want your lawn to look like a hot dumpster fire on a train track with a train coming, follow that course. If you would like a nice green lawn, though, maybe Lawn Supply Company would be where you'd want to go.
Kaboom, mic drop. Lushy, thank you. It was great talking to you. All right. We've got one more call to make, Ray. We've got to dial out here on this one. J-Fink, go ahead and dial out.
Dial out.
Pick up. Caller.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Outlaw.
Hi.
Paul
Hey.
Outlaw, what's going on, my man?
Oh, not much. I'm trying to get y'all over to my Bluetooth here. Let me see if
You all fancy
get
here,
to do
man. We're Bluetoothing you and everything, man. That's
That's his
I can't
hands
get
free.
my in-vehicle technology to work here. So I just talk
My
the
in-
old-fashioned way through the earpiece.
yeah.
Mhm.
I got a rotary dial phone at home, Paul. So I feel you. I get it. I understand.
Yeah, it's sometimes your finger gets stuck in a little hole, and when you take
We still talk about the phone?
can
Oh.
part off that you talk into, sometimes you can't get that far away from the wall and everything.
Yeah,
Mhm.
every time that phone sex operator asks me to press 1 to add more minutes, it's hard for me to stick my finger in there and do that. It's just I get confused and it gets complicated, and there's a brief delay there that ruins the mood. It's quite infuriating. But all right,
And that
Paul.
that is the drawback.
All right. Listen, so regardless of our touch tone versus Paul style conversation here, what do you got for us tonight? What's going on in Paul's world?
Oh man, I'm trying to finish up on a bunch of warm season stuff, new customers. That phone keeps ringing on that end, and I got to get those out of the way and just convert over to start getting my fungicide rounds down on my fescue. We're already seeing a little bit of fungus action in some of the fescue, and it's just getting hot now. It's been kind of cool and dry, so it's not been as urgent as it generally is. We like to have that down by the middle of May usually, but hasn't happened for us this year.
Yeah, and I mean, I get that, and I feel that I'm not in anywhere close to where you are from a climate perspective or a location perspective. But yeah, like up here where again, I'm the only idiot that's growing Bermuda grass, and so like we are just now able to transition because we finally got enough warm temps to spray sulfonylureas and spray out our ryegrass and verticut and scalp and do all that good stuff that we really need to do to have a good transition. And oh, by the way, right, we've got our first real hot, humid stretch coming here. So yeah, the fungicides are a flying this week, and so I get it, man. It's tough in this stretch here, on the transition for the warm season and getting going with the fungicides. I mean, is this your busiest time of year? Is this where you feel like, man, like I can't rest for a minute because something could go wrong?
It's up there because you're doing so many different things. The fall is usually when it's super hectic because you're trying to seed all those yards and maybe try to get some. Then you want to get some pre-emergence out on the warm season stuff, but generally don't. I don't generally have time to get to very many of them. But just the fall is usually a little tighter. But I don't know. This time of year right now, this year is as busy as we've ever been. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, and kudos to you because I know it's tough, and I know that there's only so much you can do in a case like yours. You got so many clients, and you can't like really respond to weather. It's not like, well, hey, it's going to be hot and humid for the next 4 days. I'm just going to go and get all that fungicide out. I mean, it's great to say that and think that, but you might have things you got to tend to in your warm season lawns because as it's warming up, those might need a little bit more TLC to get going and look good, right, coming into the hottest part of the year. So, I always I get pissed. I get legit pissed when people are like, well, Matt always jokes about the lawn boy stuff and everything like that, and how he feels slighted, jaded, everything like that. And I had never really thought about it much before, but now that I see it and I hear it, it does. It grinds my gears. And if J Pink uses that little fucking thing, I'm gonna get pissed. It'll grind my gears even more.
I can't find it fast enough.
That's right. That's right. I gotcha. Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, I had an exciting one today. I seeded a Bermuda yard because I I guess I killed the man's yard, part of it anyway. I don't know, but I mean, I was the last one there, and it looked dead. So I was gonna.
That's Listen. If the cops were there, if the cops came, they'd be like, Mr. Outlaw, you were the last one that was seen with this yard when it was still alive.
You're the last one to see this. Yeah.
You have an alibi.
In all fairness, this is a yard that I spray on contract kind of for the maintenance people, so I never even really deal with the customer. And I've sprayed it for a few years now. It's never a spectacular lawn. It's just there. But I probably spray it. What did I say? 3 or 4 times a year, maybe. And I sprayed it when it was dormant, and I mean it was still there. Just dormant, non-spectacular lawn. And this spring, about I'd say probably 2,500 square foot patch just didn't come back.
Oh, man.
I assume responsibility. But I told the guy who does the maintenance said that he'd sod it for me, just charge me for the sod. I said, well, you know what? If we can get that done for under $1,000, and I don't have to go back and deal with it, and don't have to worry about it or spend time saving it. Let's just do that and get it out of the way. So they go to look into that, and the sod place is out of sod. So
oh wow,
there's that.
So
I went
the only thing you sell, and they're out of it.
Put the nitrogen bomb on it today. We'll see what happens. There's some Bermuda surrounding it. The patch that died was centipede. So I mean, I probably did the dude a favor in the long run, but we'll see.
Did you? I would have put that on the invoice. Did you a favor, $800 and seed $200? Like, yeah, you should have. You should have. No, seriously. Like, that's the one part, and again, that's the space I have the least amount of experience is just residential lawn care, and it's so hard, and it's so hard to keep everybody happy, and I don't know how you guys do it sometimes. I really don't. So I commend you, and hey, and kudos to you too for stepping up and saying, hey, listen, like it's messed up. It's our lawn. We're gonna own it. We're gonna fix it, and that's that. You have some guys that are just like, hey, guess what? I'm canceling your account. I don't service you anymore. Peace, and we'll see you later. And that's a terrible way to do business. So again, kudos to you, stand-up guy, Paul Outlaw.
We're gonna fix anything we screw up, and plus the guy who does the maintenance on it, I sprayed probably 150 properties for him. So I mean, I definitely.
Well, yeah, you can't walk away.
Angry with me, and I mean, he's not. I mean, because he even told the guy who owned the yard, he said, man, he's never killed one before, and all of them look great. So I don't know what happened. I'm not 100% sure that it was something I did, but I mean, it certainly would seem to be, and I certainly can't go to the guy and say I didn't do it. And
right.
If I can fix it for a few $100, that's whatever.
Guilt by association.
I hate spending the time on it.
I was gonna say that's probably the big, and that's something we try to get across, right, to the pro applicators that we talk to on here, right? And you're not named because you get it, but the doing stuff right the first time, the callbacks, and nailing it right is so important. Not just because it's your name on it, it's your reputation, all that kind of stuff, but man, your time is so damn valuable that you can't, it's a double, it's a double whammy that you have to go back to a property and do something because you're not getting paid for it while you're there, and you could be out making more money or even higher fees, whatever, and you're not out there either. And so, we can't stress enough like why it's so important. And people look at us and roll their eyes sometimes, and they're like, well, sometimes what you guys say is over the top. Like literally, people say this, and I
get that all the time.
That comes from. I can see where that comes from.
I get that all the time. I get it all the time, and my counter to that is, okay, when the grass dies, who's responsible? Who pays for it? And I can't very well keep on doing that, for example, because eventually word gets around.
And that's
I
the thing.
kill lawns. Yeah, word gets around, you know?
Well, and so that's well, and it's just like Paul, like, you know, suck eating $100 or $200 or $300 on, you know, some seed costs and your time and everything like that to go out there and seed that lawn. Yeah, it hurts, but you know what? Like the fact of the matter is the reputation of, you know, Paul Outlaw is one of good quality, and if you have one lawn that's got your name on it, whether it's posted on a sign or not, you don't want people thinking that. Like, that's going to cost you exponential dollars, right? In terms of what your reputation is and how people perceive you. So you get it. I know you do. It's just unfortunate that, you know, some of the pros that we talk to are short-sighted, and other folks that use you guys, right, as service providers, are so short-sighted to say as well, you know, hey, if that guy can't do it, somebody else can. Let's get that guy in here for $5, you know, cheaper. I mean, I've seen people do that. I've seen people say, oh, so-and-so was $5 cheaper, so I'm going to go with them. And it's like, are you serious? Like, let's just say that you've got reputable company B who's in the second slot who's $5 more. Like, you're going to sit there and tell me it's not worth it? But there are so many people that look at that and they're like, oh, it's all the same thing. I mean, surely they're all doing the same thing and using the same products and everything. It's like, not necessarily.
No, not at all.
Not necessarily. Yeah.
No.
So,
not the
an
same.
inevitable
Exciting
situation.
times, man. Put $200 worth of diesel in my truck this morning to go out.
Oh, you too,
go
huh?
to
You
work.
too. You too, because last week I saw the fuel pump go up to $200. I saw the fuel pump go up to $200, and it's okay. I'm doing all right. It's just that at the same time, I literally tell people I do not waste time, and I'm not going to be holding people's hands as much as I used to either. Okay? I don't do that anymore. Not at $200 for 30 gallons of diesel. Not anymore.
Man.
It's unfortunate,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the ceiling's got to be somewhere.
let's not.
My 401k, I think, is seeing the bottom, but I'm hoping that the price increases will see the ceiling soon. So I don't know, man.
We'll see, man. Let's just say this, Paul. It's going to take a big old Mega Millions or Powerball jackpot to walk away here in the next couple of years. Let's just say that. Ain't nobody going to look at that 401k or look at their business and be like, yeah, I can get out now and be fine. So, you know, hey, nose of the grindstone, keep pushing forward. That's all we can do. And, yeah, man, you're not blowing smoke, but you're one of the guys that I respect a lot because of the way you do it. So thank you so much for being a fan of the show. Thanks for being a guest on the show. Thanks for supporting us, man. We certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys too. And it's a great honor to follow Aaron Donnelly on his birthday here.
Hey, Aaron Donnelly. Aaron Donnelly is let me think about this here. He's he's over 50, so he's getting a senior coffee at McDonald's tomorrow.
I think Aaron's still in his 40s.
Yeah, I think he might be 49. I think he might be a year away. I think he's a year away. He's a year away. So next year at this time, he's going to live stream buying his first senior coffee at McDonald's.
Because
and then of course, Ray, if he's going to sit down in the dining room, read like 2 newspapers, and then poop at McDonald's. Like, that's what you have to do when you turn 50. Cheap coffee, 2 newspapers, and a poop, and you can leave.
Well, I'm not doing that, even though. How's this one, Ryan? On one of the burn-in returns this year, I am going to be 50 for that show.
Oh, I'm already
Blowing-
there, man.
I'm going to be 50.
Paul, how old are you?
I'm 50.
Oh,
Man.
all right.
Yeah.
All right.
My older brother
January
turns
of
50 this year.
72.
January, my brother's June of 72, and I can't believe that shit, man. It's wild. It's something else,
Yeah.
and I think that's more depressing than me turning 39 this year. So it is what it
Man,
is, though.
you got-
So
You got a long time ahead of you, man.
I don't know, man. I listen. What did we had a burner return
That's the
episode called.
same thing, man. I never thought I'd see this.
We had a burner return episode that Matt aptly titled "Abusing Your Meat Bag," talking about our bodies, and yeah, I've certainly used mine as a punching bag, so it'll be interesting to see. But hey, man, we appreciate you. We're gonna get out of here and get ready to go to the after show, so I hope you'll join us over there and listen. But for those of you who don't know about the after show, what we do, how we do it, what goes on over there, as weird as this got, it's going to get weirder. So if you don't know how to get there, go over to www.patreon.com/burner return. Go ahead and join over there. Get yourself linked up on the Discord so that you can hop over, see our private link for the after show, which will be alive for 10 minutes only, and then it evaporates into the ether, never to be seen again. We will talk about some current events in the turf industry, if you want to call it that, Ray. And we'll provide some we will provide some feedback on those current events, and so it'll be fun. And we highly encourage you to do it if you enjoy fun turf and well, maybe some bad words. So with that, listen, we will see you all. If you are a member, we'll see you Sunday night for Burn and Return. If we're not, we'll see you next Thursday for this show. And J Pink, quick update. What is next week? Who's next week? Anybody?
Next week is a Thirsty Thursday.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
Well described. All right,
Exactly.
Thirsty Thursday next week. Come hang out with us. See us then. Until then, we'll see you all later.
Later, boys.
All right.